gotta get the bottle so we can show we're drinking.
Ugh. I feel like Christmas with these pants on.
Ooh, eyes feel a little blurry. Hope that ain't coming.
What?
Glasses.
Oh.
I'm talking about not the 2020 vision. Don't start messing with the vision.
Oh, shiny. Look at the pants.
It's Tuesday, y'all. It's time to check in. It's time to check in with your favorite girls, Ken&Kay. Wine&Grow. I'm not going to shuffle these because the cards we used last time are on the bottom.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey. What's going on, people? How's everybody's day? How's your day been?
It's been good.
It's been good.
Yeah.
Mine has been cool.
Yeah.
I just got irritated like right before this. But yeah, we gonna make it through. It's crazy though because I also woke up with something on my heart. Yeah, that I need to find another job. And then like everything I was listening to today was talking about taking a leap of faith and bravery. And I'm like, wow, like I just got this, you know, like already? Like what is this? But yeah, I don't know if I can keep dealing with this. And ain't nobody, you don't need to stay nowhere where you feel like you're not being treated right. You know, so no relationships, no repositioning, you know? Repositioning. What we're talking about here. Okay. Jumping right on in, huh? So yeah, so guys, welcome back. It's Tuesday. I keep wanting to say Wednesday. This is Wine&Grow. I'm Ken.
I'm Kay.
She's Kay. I'm Ken. And we wine, we grow. When we grow, we need wine. So we're back with another episode. This week we're talking about repositioning. And you know what I was thinking about? I was like, we called it repositioning, but it was based off the conversation that I have with my therapist in regards to redefining this season. I was like, why do we go with repositioning instead of redefining? I don't know. Maybe it just sounded better, and it's fine.
Because when I thought about it earlier, I'm thinking repositioning. Sometimes for other people, it can be removing. So, and that's what it is for me. Yeah.
So just like last week, we're going to start with a little icebreaker. The Tonight Let's Talk cards. So she's going to pull one, I'm going to pull one. And feel free to chime in if you have something you would like to add.
Did we do the real intro?
I just did it.
Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Sorry.
I said I'm Ken.
Yeah. And I did. Okay. I'm back.
She's funny.
No. Because look.
Well, we didn't answer it.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to answer that, or if we want to just put that at the bottom because neither one of us really want to answer that. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What motivates you the most in life? To be honest, it's not a person. I think what motivates me the most is knowing that what I want is really out there because I've seen other people obtain it, and I think that's what really motivates me.
So it's the end goal.
Yeah.
So what's the end goal is motivating. That's a good one. What motivates me? The fear of failure, the fear of not having any, fear. Like I don't want to be. I would rather try than to not. And just to be without or to be missing out on things, like, so yeah. I'm just motivated by the desire um, to succeed and enjoy this life, you know, to the best of my ability, to have the things that I desire, to live the life that I want. So yeah, I'm just motivated by that, you know. Like, you know, I was thinking about that earlier. I was vacuuming and I'm just like, I really have to be in the mood to clean up. Then I'm like, well, I don't really lack motivation for a lot of things. And I'm like, but I'm just thinking about the fact that people lack motivation. You know, and I'm like, there's people who literally, they have to be made to clean up, and I just like my house clean. You know, and I'm motivated by being comfortable in my house and it being clean. You know, so I'm literally just motivated. You know, that's what motivates me, is literally just being comfortable, being able to just live and enjoy. You know, not being a failure, like I said, just not being a failure in general. So
Absolutely.
When was the last time you had a serious disagreement with someone, and how did you resolve it?
Oh, you gonna go first, cause right now I don't have nobody to disagree with.
Well, I guess talking. The last time I had a serious disagreement was earlier this, like, in the spring. And the thing that happened to resolve it was, one, I had to give the person space, so they can get to a point where they were ready to have the conversation, that we can do that in a healthy way. And then we made time to connect so that we can discuss the issue and figured out how we wanted to move forward. So we both made a conscious decision that we wanted to move forward, or how we wanted to move forward, and you know, and yeah, so that's how we resolved it. Just literally just talking about it. But what was most important is that piece of giving that person space to actually want to, because we so often want to fix things. Like, I know I'm a fixer, you know, I want to fix things and I want to fix them right away. Like, why are we having this thing lingering? So yeah.
I haven't had no real big disagreements with anybody.
That's good.
Look, cause I'm still thinking, but no.
Okay. Well, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Because if I'm disagreeing, I don't have nothing to talk about. Yeah, I don't know. I ain't had no big disagreements with nobody recently.
So you've had disagreements, you just haven't resolved them?
Or they're just not a big, like, serious things. Like, so yeah, I've had.
You haven't had any desire to resolve
like,
them.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, get into today's topic, repositioning. Yes, repositioning. So this, like I was saying before, we started talking.
We didn't do this. Are we doing this last?
I said we did it towards the end at the last time.
Okay.
Yeah. But this kind of came from a conversation that I had with my therapist earlier in the year, because I just felt like I was losing a lot of things, like a lot of people. Not so much things, people, right? My mom in the beginning. I mean, this is the beginning of the year, so my mom, me and my boyfriend at the time, we broke up, and I had some fallouts with some friends. So I just felt like, I said, this is my season of loss. That's what I was considering it, just a season of loss for me. And she was like, no, I wouldn't consider it a season of loss. I think it's just a season of you redefining relationships for you. I mean, not so much a loss of my mom, but the other relationships that I had was just redefining how I prioritize relationships and people in my life, because I've always had a high priority for relationships, you know. So we were talking about that. Me and Sequoia and I were talking about that, and so basically that's just been the mood for the whole year. It's kind of repositioning myself, repositioning people, so where they're in a different, like, basically I can utilize them to the best of their abilities. And that's crazy, because that's literally what just my director said earlier at work, because we're transitioning roles right now. Some tasks that I was doing, we've transitioned to somebody else, and vice versa, because she said she wants to be able to utilize our skills to its capacity, right? So we don't want to have anything on their plates that is not fulfilling, or takes away from their strengths. So basically that's what this topic is about. Is just learning how to reposition people in your life so that they can. So basically, you can have the fullness of your life, without them people affecting it or weighing it down. So that's, I had to reposition people in my life as a result of me. Really, it was the result of my mom passing, because it really just triggered me to really think about who was there, who wasn't there, and if I really wanted to, how I really wanted to consider those people's roles in my life. Because I just felt like, well, if I consider you a friend or this or that in my life, and you're not here for me during this season, are you really a friend? And do I consider you not a friend, because we all have things going on in our lives, So it was me reprioritizing things too, because it's not that I didn't believe. Well, I don't even want to say that, because it was a time when we like to say that a lot, like, well, when I need them, they're there, but I needed people and they weren't there. So I really did have to reposition myself.
I definitely get that. I had to do the same thing, but like I said, my repositioning, I want to say it's removing, because sometimes I tend to hold on to people and things for so long, and then you get to a point where you just try to. Matter of fact, last night I was watching Marlon, the show on Netflix, and the man was like, Marlon was hoarding all of this stuff. So his friend was like, all of this is like garbage. You can throw all of this away. He said, look around, pick something. He was like, ask yourself these questions. Does it serve a purpose? Does it bring value to your life? And does it bring joy to your life? And I'm like, and he's like, if any of the answers to that question is no, get rid of it.
Wow, that's a word.
And I was just like, and that's how I started to feel at the beginning of the year, or matter of fact, before the beginning of the year. If it's not serving me, and I'm constantly feeling drained, I'm constantly feeling like when I do need anything, I can't come to you, or it's gonna be more about you than it is about me, or just I'm not being fulfilled, or I'm growing out of something. I have to let it go, because I can no longer take this with me. I'm obviously feeling this way because it's time. So that set with me then, but of course it happened. It was starting to happen at the beginning of the year. So just my transition of trying to figure out what else is out there for me, and who is bringing value to me, who is draining my energy. It's time to let these things and people go. And that was me. Instead of repositioning them, it was removing them. And I mean, it's not like I can't come back around to these things just if I'm in another space and we come back in alignment. But right now I'm out of alignment with a lot of older things.
and the removal of things, the redefining of things is repositioning us to receive different things. Right? We're opening ourselves up to receive new things. Like again, the love that I've received from other people as I started to recognize and honor the people who have been here and are here. Just it's been beautiful. Like I realized that I'm not missing anything. I like the fact that when you think about loss, when you think about it in a different manner, when you switch your perspective, you can see it as, okay, but now that I've something is gone, I have the opportunity to gain something.
Because you have to make space. It's making space. You have to make space for the new to come in. If you want to, we constantly asking for new things. We're constantly asking for more, but we don't have the room for more. Whether it be mentally, whether it be physically, when you're home or something, you're asking for these things, but you're not ready for these things, or you don't want to make space for them.
Yeah.
And so now, when you're bringing up all these things, you don't know. You have to now go through so much more to figure out what is for you and what ain't.
And I was listening to So Shameless podcast earlier, and they were talking about a woman who basically went out. She was basically going out to restaurants and positioning herself in a way that men can pay for her food or whatever. And I'm just like, when I'm listening to them talk about it, I'm like, but ain't that what we supposed to, like, you position yourself, like, I mean, they was looking at it as if she was just being a gold digger, she's going out. I'm like, no, she's just positioning herself to meet somebody. She's a single woman, you know, so it's like, like, we were talking about this too, like, going to different places, right, that to attract different levels, right, so repositioning ourselves. So, like, if this is the level that I'm on now, and I want to attract people on this new level, I want to go to new places.
With the same places
exactly. Or I want to go to the places where I'm spending more money because I want to be around people who are also spending more money, you know, like to do things or whatever. So that's the way I looked at it. And that's, you know, and I'm saying that, like, because I think about that too in this topic, like in our singleness, like how we reposition ourselves as far as dating, you know, like for one, not really looking, right? Like, just really just taking advantage of the single stage and loving on ourselves, and again, and going out to do different things that we wouldn't have done before. You know,
not just assuming that every person that we meet is the person. Like, really just out here making new connections with people, because you never know who they could end up being in your life.
Hey Lizzie.
Hey Lizzie.
Hey Kalila. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But it's hard. I mean, like, you know, like repositioning, like changing anything, like it's uncomfortable, you know, like, because it's out of your norm, but it has to be strategic. But I just feel like it's not always comfortable to be repositioned.
Yeah, the conversations definitely ain't comfortable at all.
But you know what? When you think about repositioning, right? It's just like, say you in a bed and you uncomfortable. What you do? You reposition yourself to get comfortable.
It's the same
That's
thing.
What we're doing in our life, right? I'm uncomfortable. Like you said, this thing isn't serving me. This person isn't bringing me joy. This situation is not fueling me. So I'm going to reposition myself to where I can be comfortable. You know, like, because this is not it. Yeah. And of course, you know, being uncomfortable causes growth.
Yeah. But what makes it uncomfortable is, though, now, of course, we thinking about bed, and that's the easiest one because this bed ain't got no feelings. So, but the other person, you know, it's going to affect them to an extent. So it's like you trying to not hurt their feelings. Although you know this is what you need to do, you try not to hurt that person's feelings. So that's what really makes it hard. But depending on what space you in, you know it's got to be done. You just going to get it done. Yeah. Rip the Band-Aid off. Ain't no need to take it slow no more, because it's something that has to be done. Yeah. Because it's like you're making yourself suffer. And complaining and getting mad, and you taking your frustrations out on those people or person, when you could just let them go. Tell them what the deal is and let it go. Right. I was gonna say, either, you know, work things out, or, you know, you figure out what's next.
Yeah, because you blocking, like we was just saying, like you blocking yourself from what you can be receiving, holding on to something that you're not supposed to have no more. So you have to let it go. You have to be repositioned so that you can receive what's new, what's next. So,
just like what you saying with your job. Well, with a job, if you somewhere where you don't want to be, and you getting that urge, and you know you're unhappy and you don't want to go to work, you drain, you know it's time to move on. You know it's time. Because mentally, you're not there no more. And y'all know we be leaving mentally with anything.
Yeah, you be gone.
We physically gone.
Listen, you be checked all the way out, especially for women. You be checked out, and then they be like, oh, I had no idea how I knew. I knew for months. I was just getting my ducks in a row.
Right. Like, I'm just trying to make sure I ain't losing it.
Exactly. I'm trying to make sense of it all.
Yeah.
Giving chances, right? So we can figure it out. You know? So, yeah.
Ooh, I do want to put another card to it again.
You do?
Yeah.
We can. This is a big old stack. And we only got 3 more episodes. We can pull all the cards we want.
Oh, what are things that you do to tend to your mental health? Y'all,
wow, why are these cards in line, first of all?
Yeah, y'all, because, you know, last week was so hard, last week for me. And my weekend was like a refresher. And I think, like, when I had texted you, I'm like, my whole house is fine now. Like, I don't know what it was, we all just needed a break.
Yeah.
And
we didn't even talk about our weekend. We just jumped right in.
Yeah, we gonna get to that too, y'all. Cause that was
goodness.
the weekend, y'all. Homecoming was so fun.
Yes, shout out to NIU. Shout out to the Black alumni.
Yes.
Shout out to the committee.
Shout out to Black people. Shout out to us,
yes,
y'all. Shout out to us, because we would put on a show and have the best time together. And it's always nice being with our people. And I had a ball. Things we can talk about, things we can't talk about. I had a ball.
Like we said, in our best moments was the moments that weren't caught on camera.
Yeah, like, wow. When we just started talking, I'm like, wow, man, had a ball. Just about lost my voice. I knew I had to start shutting up because I hate that feeling. I don't like that.
Oh, yeah, my voice was definitely about gone on Sunday. Like I said this yesterday, like my whole lower body was on bed rest. Like
my body was on fire. My toes was swollen because I did not sit down. Like that was so crazy. But like that was my refresher. And then like when I came back home, I rested. I actually rested on Monday too. But I was like, I'm like, my kids just laughing and talking like we was good. Savion waiting for me at the door. Never told my kids when I was on the way home. The door open. He standing right at the door looking. I'm like, so I'm back and I'm better mood. I've been drawing and I painted today. I did a drawing earlier this morning. Then I painted.
Yeah, and I seen your text.
Yeah, so like that and listening to music yesterday. Soraya came over. She was like, I had the music on, girl. I was in there having me a ball. She come in there, she said, oh, you in here having the time of your life. I'm like, girl, yeah. But yes, listening to music, just getting back in my space. And I did some journaling, and I was good.
So that's the thing.
Those are the things, yes. If it's nice outside, I'll go outside and just have a moment outside, enjoy the air, sunbathe. Journaling, listening to music, painting, drawing, writing. I say journaling. But yeah, or sleeping.
Yeah, I was gonna say lately the things that I do for my mental health is to not to do. Like I realized that I spent so many years just doing. So now like to take care of myself, I just stopped. Like I've been intentional about taking at least one day during the week. Where I just don't do anything but sit in the house, watch TV. Most of the time I eat fast food because I don't want to cook. Like I literally just don't want to be responsible for anything. I don't want to have to clean nothing up. So I just order out so I can throw it away. Like I just chill, watch TV. I don't want to have to think. So I, watch some TV or something that's fun. It helps me laugh or whatever. Of course, like daily maintenance, meditation, journaling, my prayer journal, reading and praying, my devotional, so that's like my daily mental health regimen. But on a weekly basis, I have to have a Sabbath day. I realized that, I had, coming off of the summer, I was exhausted and I was just off my square. I'm like, what is going on? I was just tired. I just felt stretched and I was like, you know what? I'm just chill one day. And I felt so refreshed after that day. And I was like, I got to be intentional about this. I have to do this once a week so that I know I'm refreshed for the next week. And I'm able to do something like it. I mean, it'd be even like coming off of the weekend. Even though I had to work yesterday, I was still intentional about I stayed in the bed all day, worked from the bed all day yesterday. I'm like, because I know my body needs to refresh. So I just need to stay in the bed. And, it makes a hell of a difference, for real.
Yeah, I did for a couple hours, but nothing too crazy.
Ebony says, reposition yourself can also help the person on the receiving end reevaluate themselves and their purpose as well. For sure. Yeah. Because we, I guess, everybody, when you're, especially when if this is involving relationships, right? Like you said, it can be, you can see that as a good thing for you, but that other person is kind of like, what's going on? I don't understand. But once they take a step back, and can think about it, they can see how, how it serves them good too. And then they can grow from it as well. all parties win. You know, that's just like even in breakups. In romantic breakups, all parties win.
Yeah, I'm not saying
because we just wasn't meant for each other. Yeah. When you leave a job, all parties win. Because now we get to get another employee, and you get to get a better employer. Mm-hmm. All parties win. I think we need to stop looking at things like somebody lost. Yeah. Everybody wins, because if it didn't work out, it wasn't supposed to be. Yeah. Everybody wins. So, yeah. But yeah. What are your views on couples therapy or counseling, and if your relationship was in trouble, would you seek it? I definitely believe in both. Yeah. Counseling and therapy. I've been listening to some podcasts, couples podcasts and stuff like that, and I've heard some views on basically like people taking premarital counseling, but then they don't keep therapy, like they don't have an ongoing therapist, and I was like, that's something that I would like to have in a relationship. You know, like even if it wasn't on a weekly, it doesn't have to be weekly. It could be monthly. It can be every quarter or something. Yeah. You know, just a check in, to kind of where we can have somebody who's not biased talk to us about our stuff. Yeah. You know, like because I feel like we have to treat our mental health like our physical health. Like they tell us to go to the doctor once a year just to get your blood drawn and check your levels and all that type of stuff. I think we need to have mental health therapists the same way. You know, like so I do definitely believe in counseling in relationships, and I definitely look to take that more serious when I get into my next relationship as well. Not even like when I'm dating somebody, like not seeking therapy right in the dating season, but are you in a space? Have you ever sought out therapy? Are you interested? You know, like what are your thoughts on it? Like really exploring that conversation a lot more, because it's a very taboo. But again, when we switch our narrative of it and see it as just something good for us, this is something a way for us to vent and stuff, then we can do it. Yeah.
I mean, I agree with everything you said, so I don't have to. Yeah, I agree. Because I think that now, as we're getting older, you do see a lot of people still getting divorced, and some people maybe aren't going to therapy or don't want, or the other person is not trying to seek another opinion, you know, to help work it out. So, you know, I think that I would, like you said, are you interested? At the beginning, you want to ask those questions so you'll know that if this comes a time when we have a disagreement and we constantly like this and we want to seek help, are you down to do this?
Yeah. And connecting our topic on both of these cards, as far as like the mental health thing and doing things, you know, like understanding that your things are going to change for the seasons that you're in. Like I said, like before, like my things that I would do for my mental health were, like I would go outside, and not that I don't go outside anymore, but I'll read, I'll go outside, I'll journal, etc. But now my brain needs a rest. So now what I choose to maintain my mental health in this season is just to do nothing. You know, and like and as far as this card for repositioning, you know, like as we're growing through our relationship, we're going to need to reposition ourselves to get to the next level and to stay connected. You know, so having therapists help us to navigate those changes, you know, those different transitions that we're going to be making, you know, as we reposition ourselves. How do we do this together too? Yeah, because we're repositioned on an individual level, you know. So reposition is real. It's just basically evolution. As you're evolving, you're healing, you're growing, you know, like things are going to have to shift. Things are going to have to shift. People are going to have to shift.
Yeah, and that's why when stuff start happening, like, you know, when things start getting out of order, you have to now look around and start questioning what's happening, what's taking place, where am I now in my life, and where do I want to be? Is this happening because this is taking me to the next level, or is it happening because obviously it's probably either something that you need to work on or something that you need to let go. So then you have to start asking yourself these questions just to figure out where you are to be able to navigate your shift.
It's so crazy that, like, because we're regular people, like, we don't get the credit we deserve. Like, we down here, right? So people, you know, y'all check into our live and stuff like that, but literally, like, me and Sequoia, like, listen to podcasts for a living almost. Like, we should get paid to listen to podcasts. But the things that we're saying, literally, we hear. You know, and I'm not saying we hear them and then we say them to you. Right. Like, we say them and then we go listen to a podcast and somebody says what we said, and we like, girl, we not crazy. Man. Or we just know we're on the right track. Like, literally, the girl, listen to the listening to Dear Future Wifey.
Oh,
and this with the single girl, and she was just talking about what she why she wants to be married. We were literally just talking about that.
Girl, well, that's what I was saying. I'm like,
we were
thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
It's about having a companion, somebody to help take you to the next level. And when he told her your responses lets me know you're ready, I said I received that because yes, like, and then like today you have listened for sure.
I haven't listened. I'm listening to my
so the fact that what you just said, literally Megan said. I don't know for sure. The fact of the matter, she said that if something is like, she almost looks forward to bad things happening in her life because that means it's taking me somewhere.
Yes.
Like that means something else is going to happen in my life, you know. So like I'm just looking at you and I'm like,
I've been saying this though because I'm like, all of this stuff is happening. I feel this shit happening. I'm doing my best not to resist what's going on. I'm just trying to work through it, but it's like it's hard because I'm just like I don't know for sure what's happening.
Because you have to get uncomfortable to reposition. Like if you're not uncomfortable, you don't know you got to reposition.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's why my week was so hard last week.
So like I said, we got to shift our perspective of when things are happening bad in our lives. How is this happening for me? Like how can I change my perspective on this thing to say and make this happen for me? Something good, you know. And that's like even with my mom's death, you know, like I literally had to say, what am I gaining from this? She's gone physically, but what have I gained from her not being here? You know, like, so it's just like, and it helps me grieve a whole lot differently. You know, like, and we grieve not only people's physical loss, but the loss of people and things all of the time.
Yeah.
You know, so you, like, just changing in general, you're going to grieve whatever that you lost in that stage. You know, so it's like you really have to think about those things and what lessons you learned in those seasons.
Yeah, and those memories are always there. So that's what you don't lose. But the memories are always there.
Yeah. That's crazy though. We really be knowing what we be talking about. And don't be talking like
because we be doing the work, and I think people really be thinking we be bullshitting. Like we is out here doing work. If y'all see us, yes, it's all fun and games, but the things you do not see,
girl,
we be doing work, okay?
But like, that's what I want people. Like, why do y'all think we be out here living the time of our lives? Because we're literally in the house growing. We're like reading journals.
See us crying.
We're literally our mental is going through so much, you know, like that we're going through privately that we do not share on social media, you know, like, so that's why we live for the good moments and we share the good stuff because, you know, like, because we're growing through so much and we're changing and so much stuff is happening in our lives that we have to enjoy those moments. Yeah,
and
we have to do that.
You no matter what you're going through,
you can find joy.
All day, every day. Be intentional about y'all days, y'all. Wake up. Say today is going to be a great day. No matter what happens in that day, you choose how you react to everything that happens. Some of this stuff is not happening to you; it's happening for you. How do you want to see what is happening? How do you want to grow through what is happening? Do you even want to grow through it? If you don't, you're saying that you want to stay stagnant. If you are comfortable with the way things are, and you may be in a great comfortable space. Don't get me wrong. Some people are, and right now you're good. You know you want the next level, but right now you want to enjoy the phase that you at. That's fine. But in other spaces, people choose to stay in unhappy situations. Yeah, and that's with anything in your life. Don't choose to be unhappy when it's so many things out here,
so many opportunities,
so many things to experience to bring joy to your life, and you just have to figure out what those things are. But the only way to do is to move through the uncomfortable.
Yes. Don't let it weigh you down. Don't let it stop you. Don't become a victim of your circumstances.
Man,
don't become a victim for real. Like that's just, you know. That's something like, and I hate to be one of those people, like, but you know, like, you don't have to be what you went through, and a lot of us really try to find something or somebody to blame for everything that has happened in our lives. Because of this is why I'm this way. Okay, but you don't have to be that way because of that. You know, like you can literally choose to do something different. Like, you have to hold yourself accountability for your life at some point.
Yeah.
You can't always blame your circumstances or what somebody else did to you because of the way your life is going, when you literally have this power within yourself. You know what? And that's something that I've just really been tapping into too lately a lot. And is the strength, the power that I have within myself, you know. And when you grow onto a more of a spiritual journey, you know, you really learn the God that lives in you. You know, it's not and I'm finna get deep now, because we go to church, we learn to praise an external God. You know, and I believe in God, I love the Lord. However, one thing I know for sure is that God has also, you know, when we read our words, you understand that power lives in us, right? So you have to learn how to honor yourself and believe in yourself. You don't have to always feel like I have to go find external strength to get through something. It's already in you. It's already in you. You just have to activate it. You just have to activate that strength. You don't, you know, and I'm not saying don't pray, you know, and don't worship and things like that. However, don't wait. God does not want us waiting to act. He wants us to move in faith, right? Move in faith. So that's when they say faith without works is dead. That's what they're talking about, because so many people, you get caught up in religion and church, and they're saying, pray about it, pray about it, pray about it. When God is saying, I'm waiting on you to move. It's in you. The power is in you already. I gave it to you. You are a God. We are made in his image. So you have to move so that he can act. There is no response without an action. There could not be a response. So again, repositioning yourself, because how do I want God to move on my behalf? Because his purpose is going to be fulfilled in our lives. So you could take the left or you could take the right. He's going to make it work for your good. But just be brave enough to take the first step.
Ain't that what the episode was called?
What?
Something about being brave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, and when I was listening to it, I was like, oh, and this is like, it taps into what we're talking about tonight too, you know, like, but yes, like, we have to, like, faith without works is dead. Yeah. Whew. I'm gonna get more into that on honor yourself, just the way I'm learning to honor myself in a more of a spiritual manner. Like, because for real, like, that's just been such an internal battle that I've been fighting lately. Is my, you know, my spiritual self, my religious self, you know, really just finding that balances and, you know, and questioning what I believe. Like, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle for real. But yeah, so yeah, it's been a struggle, you know, so
What you just said a mouthful.
for real.
It was a word.
You want to do another one?
Sure.
One more, then we'll be done. We'll call this a wrap.
When it comes to dating, do you prefer go with the flow or label and define things? Right now, I'm not trying to label and define nothing right now. But I think that when it becomes more intentional, like right now, I just want to know if we are compatible as friends. Like, I want to be somebody's friend. I think that's just what is on my mind. Like, just building new friendships first. But when we're actually starting to be intentional about dating, and it's been like, I don't even want to put a certain number on it.
But I mean, all of this card goes with our topic too. Because at some point in the dating stage, you have to reposition yourself to go to the next level.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, in the beginning, I'm going with the flow. I'm not putting any labels on it because, like you said, I want to get to know somebody. But at some point, at some point, we got to reposition ourselves and decide if we're going to put a label on this of what we're doing. You know, like, it's important to define, though, I think in the beginning, if
everything is defined, though. So.
Right. No, like for real, like, some people go into things and they know they're not looking for nothing.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So, like, when you're talking to somebody to say, I have no intentions on making this anything. But you know, like me, if I'm dating somebody, somebody says I want to date you. Okay, what are your intentions with me though, right? We don't got to define this right now, but I want to know that that I know for sure that when we start to get progress, it's going to turn into something. You know, like I don't want to be going into something and not know what the intentions are.
Like
right?
You're looking to be
exactly. So I think
to...
that's important. Like you have to set those boundaries in the beginning of what your intentions are with the relationship. Now we don't have to throw in no labels at the beginning because we're getting to know each other, but we need to know what the intentions are of this journey.
Communication, understanding.
Yeah,
and understanding.
Says your partner doesn't look quite the way they did when you started
dating.
when you started dating. How do you handle it?
Listen, people change, and if it's there's a possibility that they're not gonna look like this forever. Like it's just real. Now, if it's something that you feel like you want to speak on, do your thing. But I mean, it just depends on, what did
people change? Because I be thinking about that. You know, like I dated people, who when I dated them, they had fades and then they get locks.
I hate that stage.
You know, like it's like, oh my God, or they had braids and then they cut their hair off. You know, like, but then they can say the same shit about me. You know, like when I met you, you had a pixie cut, now you're natural. You know, like it's like, okay, so like it's literally like that's why we can't fall in love with a physical being. You have to fall in love with with who they are inside. Because everybody's going to change physically, like you said. Like, you're going to get old. You're going to get wrinkly,
Your weight going to go up and down.
But as long as your love don't change, ain't that what Music Soul Child said?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so, because at some point, it ain't going to matter to me no more how you even look. Because as long as you still got a personality, you still got swag, etc. You're going to be fine to me anyway.
Hello.
You're going to be fine to me. Because this is speaking to physical attributes.
And it's like, and I can get used to the way you look. It's not like I can't get used to it. Like,
It says,
how do you handle
your partner doesn't look quite the way it did when you started dating. How do you handle it?
That's wow. Like, how do you handle it?
And you're dating. It doesn't say when you're together.
I mean... when you together, ain't y'all still dating? Either way, if you're dealing with this person throughout that time, they may change.
Yeah, but I mean, if you find yourself just falling out of love, not being attracted to them anymore because they don't look, just be honest.
Yeah.
That's another way to handle it. It's just being honest.
Honesty.
Just being honest.
Honesty is the best policy.
Yeah, like, this isn't what I signed up for. This is the person that I met. You're not the person that I met. So we gotta, we need to
That sounds so shallow.
I know, right?
That sounds so shallow.
I would not say that. I would not. Okay, I'm just putting that out there.
Oh man, and it's crazy because sometimes people can feel it and they already feel the ways and probably just don't want to address it themselves. So then when your partner addresses it, it's gonna make you feel even like worse sometimes.
But
like,
But I mean, how they carrying it too, like because. People be ugly and be confident as hell and can be fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because, again, your swag, your personality, you get to look in the past the fact that you ain't really all that attractive because you got...
I had one of those.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, it's worth it,
Yeah.
So, love yourself. The confidence brings it all. So, yeah.
Love every part of you. And if you don't like it, you do know you can change it, right?
And can't nobody say about what you decide to do about yourself.
Hello.
To love yourself better. Yeah. We had some good talk today.
Yeah. I believe. I believe, and now I'm going to go get affirmed off my podcast of the week. I got a list I need to listen to. But
that's all I did today was I just let them play in the background throughout my day. Yeah. Today, because today I moved from the bed to the couch. So maybe tomorrow I actually work out of my office. I'm working my way through the house. Yeah. So next week
we have.
Is it Honor Yourself?
I don't know. Let's see.
Cam wants to come on. We got to pick an episode.
Yeah, he was talking. That
we can have him come on. know. Maybe the last episode. Allow me to reintroduce
Or maybe
myself.
should we just do? We'll see. Where is it? Oh, here you go. What do you say? Honor yourself. Yes, next one.
Okay. So next we'll be talking about honoring yourself. Yeah. Okay. That'll be cool. All right.
Oh,
yeah. The wine of the week.
I got this for my birthday, guys.
It's really good. It's a blueberry wine.
I forgot. I don't know if y'all can
by
come here and
Barefoot.
see it.
Yeah.
But get it focused.
Barefoot blueberry. Oh, that's too close for that. There we go. Whatever. Okay, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wine of the week.
It really is good because that's basically what my glass was.
Yeah. All right, guys, it's time to go. Hope you all have a beautiful night and a great rest of your week.
Peace, guys.
Deuces.